Hey, oh, and hello. Ooh, check out Devil Flyer on Fun My Comment. New artwork up. The saga begins. Buzzkill.
Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it the gentlemen wish? What would they have?
Freedom!
Is life so dear, or peace so sweet? Has to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty. I know not what course others. As for me, give me liberty, or give me death.
Getting your groove on the 4 o'clock show. Shadowhawk will be about 15 minutes late. He's caught in traffic by a train, which he had to wait on for about 30 minutes to get them moving. And he's got a couple of errands to run. But that's okay. We shall proceed forward, eh? Only on Choppy Ass Theater. We're putting extra chop off the bone today. Oh. Anyway, yes. Mike Walters in the house. Hey, Mike. Hey, all dropping in to like, share, and say hi. Hello. Hello. Uh, yes. Finbat over there on Fun My Comic. Steve Lytle's birthday yesterday. Dick Cavitt's birthday on the 19th, yesterday. Steve Lytle's birthday yesterday. It was Mike Sierkowski, who did Justice League of America, early artist on Justice League for about 100 issues. Over there at DC doing what Kirby and Stan Lee was doing on Fantastic Four, having a good long run. But Dick Cavett, the talk show host, it introduced so many legends about, Katharine Hepburn and you name it, just all kinds of stuff. Orson Welles, maybe that's probably where I found out a lot of my interview style. If you're not familiar with, and I wasn't till I kind of got the showcases, sort of like the DC Marvel Essential books. My friend John would know this artist for sure. He just bought this is their first appearance. He's got their second and third appearance, and bought recently for $1,200, which is a steal, I think, for that book in that mid-grade condition. Justice League #1 for $1,200. So there you go. There's some Brave in the Bold, all done by Mike Sierkowski, the artist. Yesterday would have been his birthday. I actually gave him some Brazilian production artwork to the Brazilian cover to this, which is actually differs from this issue 4, I think, or 5. Is it 5 or 3? Anyway, it's in there somewhere. They actually take the artwork from the splash page and put it on the cover in Brazil when they reprinted it. There we go. Cool stuff. Max Sierkowski. That's when Gravity went wild. I gave him an acetate. Nice. Hello. Good to see you today. Like I said, Shadow will be a little bit tardy today, a little bit late. Got caught up in traffic. 30 minutes delayed him. Wonderful. Brave in the Bold. Brave in the Bold was like a showcase comic that showcased the very first appearance of the Justice League, amongst others, and started the Silver Age revolution with issue 4 with the modern day Flash, Barry Allen Flash. 14 years ago today, Batman's best animated series ended. Yeah, I mean, only 3 seasons. It's really a crime that it only got 3 seasons. Actually, I do adore those. And I think Dick Sprang was still alive and had something to do with that as well. Don't know. I will skip that story there. I'm wanting to cover that with Shadow, but Shadow's not here. See, so much. Guillermo del Toro's house. A look at a room in his house. Wow. Why is this thing on the side coming up? Just all get along. There we go. I don't know that I would want a big bronze werewolf in my house. Frankenstein head, huge Frankenstein head, very neat. Things that inspire you, I guess. You know. He's fat and ugly and never get a date anyway, so. Gloria Swanson was interviewed by Dick Cavett in 1970, and she was on with Janis Joplin 2 months before she died on the Dick Cavett show. So big stuff. Friday, we will be looking at this artist right here, which Friday is tomorrow, folks. Hopefully, we can get Frederick Gourmand on. I did send him the link over on his Discord. My X isn't working right now. I will talk to Omer and maybe he can get together with Frederick. I know Frederick didn't want to miss the show on Mark Silvestri, that being his favorite comic book artist. Here's some of his Incredible Hulk stuff. Very nice. Yes, indeed. So we'll be looking at Mark Silvestri tomorrow on Feature Friday with Frederick Gourmand. Not paying. Salute. Yes. Here's an old one that Dr. Mask posted yesterday. 1950 Spy Hunters, number 8 from American Comics Group. Or I imagine that's 1950. Yeah, American Comics Group. They kind of hit the superhero scene in the 60s as well. This being an earlier thing by them. I'm not sure exactly when America's Comics Group started. Maybe the 40s. I mean, this is 1950, so that's pretty close. Not sure how long they were around. I think they went out sometime in the 60s. They were definitely active with some of their hero stuff like Magic Man, I think he was called. Uh, uh, Nemesis was one of them. Debuting in November, some comics debuting in November. Here in 1981. Start out with 1981. I will look for that. Marvel team up with the Falcon, and I did like the red and white. This is a Mike Zeck cover here. Nice John Byrne head, which would have been featured on the Avengers page that I used to own. Him being an Avenger. There was a lot of heads on there. There we go. Star Wars. Never really got into that. Defenders. I bought that. That's an Al Milgrom. Nice toe spread of the Beast. And Masters of Kung Fu. Never bought any of those. Probably should have. Paul Galassi. Of course, Paul Galassi. Now that I covered Jim Steranko, I can see Jim Steranko's influence on Paul Galassi. A great artist in his own right. Mike Zeck did several covers on Master of Kung Fu. Also from 1981. Love this on Fantastic Four. This is probably his first year running on this. Turn the thing into a more lumpy version. Retro. He knew what. I mean, why not? After years and years and years and years of having the rocky looking thing, why not make him less rocky for a little while? Why not? And change it up. Love Frankie right here on the cover. The story with her becoming a Galactus Herald. Yellow with red, very simple but effective. I think sometimes I think that would be effective in the movies as well, in live action. Iron Man here, Invincible Iron Man, very nice cover, probably by Bob Layton. Yeah, I think I saw a signature. This is Alan Weiss cover in the Avengers. I bought this with the Molecule Man. Oh, did I skip one? And yeah, the What If story. What if Wolverine had killed the Hulk, which is pretty cool. Plus, what if the Fantastic Four had never been? Boom, 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 boom. Very cool issue. Remember buying that off on the stands. Any excuse to put, you know. Now, this is not 1976. He put 1976 on this. This is not 1976. This is early 80s. Definitely. I would say 1982 to be exact. We actually covered, carried these comics. When I had my comic book shop, look at the Beast doing a backflip there. Well, a front flip, I guess, backwards. Kind of strange. Probably Ed Hannigan on the artwork here. Nice Boba Fett cover. Not his first cover, but an early cover by him. I think he had 2 more bounty hunters on his first appearance in comics in Star Wars. But yeah, he had that dated wrong, 1976, not 1976. In fact, if somebody has not 1976, 1976. First time I've contacted Spinner Rack. There we go. 1976 makes me call into question everything he's ever done now. There we go. Incredible Hulk 208. And get caught up into looking at these old comic books from especially 1976, because this is the year that I first started collecting. And even though I didn't buy something like Nova like this, I probably got it and looked at it and put it back. You know, it was probably on the stands. I wish I'd gotten Logan's Run. I don't know if I saw the Logan's Run. Of course, this isn't really superhero fair, but yeah, I was probably intrigued by the early George Perez artwork here. That's one good reason to buy it. The only reason to buy it, really. Here you go, 1976 as well. X-Men, never saw X-Men till late 70s. I'd been collecting years before I ever saw one X-Men. I could have gotten some really comic book gold if I'd, only gotten latched in. See here, same year, I started with Avengers 147. This is 156. Jack Kirby cover. Occasionally you get a George Perez cover, which I enjoyed more. Kirby's wasn't bad, but it wasn't my thing. But now I've come to appreciate them more and more through the years. Gil Kane cover here on the Champions. Don't think I ever bought one Champions. Probably got it and looked at it. Defenders, off and on. Another Jack Kirby cover here. Nice cover there against Red Raja. I don't know that I've ever read anything with Red Raja in it. Obscure kind of character in DC. Defenders had a different flavor and had the first appearance of a lot of villainous characters that were only found in Defenders for a while. Love the Hulk reaching out there for Red Raja. 1983. This is more during the John Byrne run there after he's returning from the Lumpy or prior to that. I think it's probably after they returned him back to his Rocky form that we're all familiar with. Wonderful cover there. New Defenders. What if Conan the Barbarian were stranded in the 20th century? He might conquer the world. Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man had a lot of good Spidey stories in that run. 1977, what a banger of a year. Star Wars and Avengers here. Look at that George Perez cover. What more do you want? Exciting characters, exciting situation, mysterious villain. This is George Perez at his peak, if you ask me. Defenders. My first modern, what I would call modern Defenders. One of my first comics was Defenders number 15, but was number 50. This is 56 here, which I did not purchase at the time. Incredible Hulk. Ernie Chan cover. Power Man. With Iron Fist. Nice Iron Fist there in the foreground. All right, one more. How about that? 1985. Aquaman, remember this? Blue and purple outfit. I bought these when they came out, little mini series. First, a new look for Aquaman in a long time. Superpowers here, Jack Kirby. Of course, was in the Super Friends around that time. Had a toy line. Superman. I think I might have even bought this issue, The Ghost of Superman Future. Kind of riffing on some of the old stories from the Silver Age. And Legion of Superheroes. This became a prestige format book and kind of written by Paul Levitt. Kind of hard to buy continuously unless you were really into Legion, which I was, but it was kind of hit or miss with me, especially it being a more expensive book, prestige direct book. Caleb in the House, Logan's Run was a comic book movie. I think the comic book came out after the movie. It was a novel. Ginkgo. Conan with a gun. Steel is a steel. Steel is it is steel. Okay, that's hard to read. Anyway, yeah, that he was a riff on Dirty Harry, right? What to do with wings? I can't go for that. No, no can do. Yeah, I was thinking for best results, fresh ingredients. Rehash my comic, please. Same old, same old. People give you the same old, same old. They don't try and think original thoughts. I mean, it may be on a riff of something. I like the things to come to me naturally, and it may be influenced by things like I was watching the last couple of basically Empire Strikes Back and uh, uh, Return of the Jedi, but with the Family Guy versions. And I woke up writing comedy, and having some ideals about that. I mean, definitely pop culture and what you view and see and go to bed with sometimes influences your first thoughts of the day if you can capture them. If they're worth capturing. Sometimes it's just a pizza dream that doesn't mean anything, but sometimes you can't write fast enough. And that's a good feeling. As Razor Ramons would say, hey-o, hey-o, Ryan. Get off of that. Psilocybin made human cells live 50% longer. A new study has uncovered surprising anti-aging potential in psilocybin mushrooms. The active metabolite, metabolite produced when the body breaks down psilocybin, the psychoactive compound found in magic mushrooms. They should put that in quotes, magic mushroom. In laboratory experiments, researchers exposed 2 human cells, lines, skin, fibroblasts, and fetal lung fibroblasts to 100 something unit concentration of psilocybin. The result was striking. Lung cells took 57% longer to reach uh, replicative since at the point at which cells permanently stop dividing and accumulate damage, while skin fibroblasts extended their replicative lifespan by 51%. These findings suggest psilocybin may slow fundamental cellular aging processes, possibly by lowering octave stress, enhancing DNA repair pathways, supporting mitochondrial health, or dampening chronic inflammation. Um, Mechanisms that overlap with those targeted by leading experimental longevity drugs. Benefits extended beyond cell culture in aged female mice, 19 months old at the start, equivalent to approximately 60 to 65 human years. A single monthly dose of psilocybin dynamically improved outcomes. After 10 months of treatment, 80% of the psilocybin treated animals remained alive, compared with only 50% of untreated controls. Treated mice also displayed markedly fewer visible signs of aging, including reduced fur loss and graying. This research marks the very the first direct demonstration that psilocybin, uh, psilocin, can influence biological aging itself rather than solely producing psychological effects. The authors emphasize that the study used relatively conservative dosing and are now advocating for follow up work with higher and more frequent administration. Detailed assessments of immune, metabolic, and cognitive function, and investigations into whether the extended lifespan corresponds to genuine improvements in health span and quality of life. So, eat more mushrooms, apparently. Metabolic. Yes. Thank you. Hey, I don't like mushrooms. Put it in a pill. I'll take it. Hide it in my food. Yeah, I mean, don't you think that the elites know what to eat and keep the rest for themselves, and you know make it illegal? I'm not saying eat psychedelic mushrooms by any means, but I'm just saying, yeah, that look, it's all natural. It's in the ground. God put it on the planet to be used. Uh, we just had others hide facts from us. Yeah, exactly. I talked about Love Jack Kirby, uh, inked by Steve Ditko. Here's another example, early example. Uh, he did a few of the Incredible Hulk covers with Jack Kirby. This was the first Incredible Hulk series run. Uh, only ran for 6 issues. This is number 2. First appearance of the Toad Men right here. Wonderful cover. You got the Jack Kirby bulkiness of the Hulk and everything. And, wonderful job of inking Jack Kirby's lines by the great Steve Ditko. But when you look at just Steve Ditko's Hulk, drawn by him and inked by him, it's not the same. It's not the same. In fact, I've never seen a comparison, but I'll try and get you one. Uh, I don't per se like Steve Ditko's Hulk on those early issues. Not really aesthetically pleasing to me at all. Can somebody tell me what movie this is from? With Scott Baio would be forever in your debt if you would, because I would like to watch this. Can you tell from just this short clip? Can you tell? And then he throws him into the down a shaft to the middle of the earth, the molten core of the earth. Although I think the trip would have took him a lot longer. Anybody know what movie that is from? I'd like to watch that. That's pretty neat. How Comics warmed up with Devil Flyer. I missed the episode on so this is to catch up. Let's see. What was that? I was trying to find out what that was. And it's probably not going to show me. It's got some good references to some other stuff, though. But anyway, there might even be some more Devil Flyer stuff there. But I guess from How Comics, Alan Alonso drawing Devil Flyer. Check this out. Pretty dope that people are drawing this character. I love it. How about you, Ryan? Have you finished your digital drawing? Surely, unless you're doing Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein and putting all the detail in it, or you're procrastinate like I do. The anatomy and stuff like this almost reminds me a little bit of Dan Lawless, to tell you the truth, actually, in style. Pretty neat. Pretty neat that somebody would draw Devil Flyer. I mean, you could draw Captain America, Iron Man, some big IP, but somebody out there drawing my character, Shadowhawk. Welcome to the show.
Check one. Can you hear me? Ah, fuck.
I can. Yeah.
Hold
I
on.
can hear you fine.
My phone is just being shit today, dude. Oh, I've had such a bad fucking day already, dude. I'm ready to just head out of here. I'm not in a good fucking mood. I'm in a lot of pain. Oh, fuck this phone. God damn you.
Well, you sound
Am
great.
I still here?
Yeah, you sound great.
Oh, that's wonderful. I don't know what's going on. All right, I guess I'm here.
I was just showing some fan art here done by How Comics, I believe. Alan Alonso.
Okay. No point
I
in
can
having
hear
me
you.
my headphones.
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, I know. I got my headphones on, and they're apparently not working at all. So let me just turn these off. Since I can't use them anyway. I'm out of here, dude. I'm not gonna be able to hear you today. My ears still up plugged up. I'm fucking done. I'll watch the show. I'll be in chat.
Okay.
Later.
All right.
This phone, fuck.
Kicking. That'll help. Hey, man, you crush your phone. It's create difficulties. Sorry, got caught in traffic. It's no fun to be caught like that, with the train for 30 minutes and sit there and not be able to back up and get out of traffic and stuff. I am working nights, hence the delay, but soon, my friend, soon. Okay. Interesting. I did not have a chance to add any Ryan's work. I wanted to make sure I did it justice, and I still have to tweak a few things with the items that I have to put on, maybe one, and I'll show you those in a minute. But also November, I want to share with you, yes, a very key comic came out. She-Hulk #1. I actually got Stan Lee to sign one of my copies on the cover of She-Hulk #1 when I met him back in 1986. Sadly, I do not have that book anymore. Some others that came out I never saw this one. This is killer, man. With the skull surgeon. I mean, Marvel had done this same theme before, but I've never seen this in Doctor Strange. Never saw this. That's cool. I need to go back and get that one. I did buy this one, of course. It's got the Avengers. Of course, I'm going to buy that. I believe this is the Al Milgrom cover. Pretty decent cover. At least inked by him. And Mighty Thor here. I was kind of like, give and take. This looks like it might be, if it's, it may not be Keith Pollard, but it kind of looks like Keith Pollard to me. I did read it when he was there. Anyway, remove that. Stick me back up here. There we go. And share screen. There we go. Been working on the campaign, Devil Flyer campaign over on Fund My Comic. Let's see if I can get it. Probably not. Let's see. No options. All right. I'm going to kick myself just for a second. I'll be right back. There we go. Now we're back to normal size for me. I did finish the Euphoria page. If you didn't see it, I'll show it again. Here we go. Very trippy. It's going to be a trippy character, man, in this first story. It's going to be pretty wild. Doing something different in comics. Yeah. No rehash around here. No same old around here. Let me share the campaign again with you. There we go. Added some play things to the campaign. What campaign you say? Devil Flyer? The Devil Flyer campaign, which is introducing a whole Momentum universe, not just one character. Exciting characters like Bog, Enterman, Bystander, Living Mummy, you name it. Cy Marco. Euphoria will be somewhere in there. I added original head sketch, like I said yesterday, on 140-pound watercolor paper. I added that up on the campaign. Also added a head sketch of Zeitgeist, and that's on 110 mixed media paper done in alcohol markers. Most of the color pieces are going to be done in alcohol markers. Same here on the pizza rounds. I put up Morgan 11-inch pizza. I thought it was a 10-inch pizza, but oh, mon contraire, 11-inch. One more inch of glorious roundness for you. Up on the campaign, my Western villain, Morgan. Go down a little bit further. We have Thunder Rock. And over on the left, I do have larger examples if you want a closer look, like here of Geo. I did stick that up here. And Bog, there we go. Twisted Man is up there for sale. This one right there on to the left. And we got Bog. We got Thunder Rock. We got Morgan. We got Geo. We got this nice Zeitgeist. And they're all together in Euphoria piece. They're all together there under my art section. If you just want to look at the artwork, the scans. But I have put all those up there. The cheapest piece being the Zeitgeist at $20. And shipping's very reasonable. I think like $5 worldwide, whatever. Very reasonable on this smaller piece there. Very reasonable, really, on the pizza rounds as well. I didn't want to really charge. It's probably going to be people that have backed the campaign before, and it'll be sent to you, with whatever it costs. Be sent to you. I will be adding some Ryan James stuff to the campaign tonight. I'll be working on the campaign again tonight. There is no show with Janet from Another Planet. I think she's probably going to be gone for Thanksgiving. I don't know. No reason was given. She just said no show on Friday. So I won't be over there with her or Groundhog Tommy. Ryan James, Kinko. Yes. A lot of people in here. A lot of people. Yeah, I've got did some touch up on, although it won't print. I just like it to look nice, on a couple of pages here, 2 or 3 pages. It'll white out on those. On the stream last night, we went for about 4.5 hours. I and Elsie went on hanging with my homie. Known Elsie for 40 years, and it's just good to get together with him. He showed some collectibles, some of the books that's in his collection, signed books and different things, and painted. And we had some great conversation and just hung out. Well, I don't know if he's available tonight, but we may have another one of those where we just kind of hang out. And I worked on the campaign while we were talking, and I also did a little bit of artwork, like I said, did this one sketch card, Eyes in the Dark, I called it. I think that's what I called it. Yeah, Eyes in the Dark. New sketch card. So some of these may go out to you, some of them may not. I mean, I've got more than enough, to experiment and do some things with, like the portals, and been doing some writing today. As I said, have only been up for a couple hours, now about 3 hours, but yeah, I've been writing some comedy things, actually. I hope to hit all the genres at some point. The horror and the comedy, and show you I can do it all. Of course, a great story, I think, has comedy beats in it anyway. There was always comedy and play within the Avengers, which I'm more familiar with than, say, the X-Men, like Shadowhawk would be, or Risey read, and I bet he watches the Mark Silvestri show. He probably likes Silvestri X-Men. But watched, like I said, Family Guy, and then also watched, or I think I cut it off short. The last thing I watched was actually one of the last Batman versus Two-Face animated. There was a couple of animated. I haven't dove into the box yet and got the other one, but it was one of the last things that Adam West did before he died. Good horror is a comedy. Yeah. You stick a little horror beats in there, right? I mean, you stick little comedy beats in there to relieve the tension. And it helps with the pacing, because, I mean, in scary situations, sometimes people, use comedy as a relief in real life, right? And then sometimes they're just scared till they pee their pants. Hey, Doc. I'll drop you the link, Doc, if you want to come in. Stick it right there in the chat for you. He says, hell, hey, howdy, and hello. I'd like to see him say that in a cave. That way he would get an echo. See. But yeah, I'll be adding the bog, some of the bog stuff that Ryan did, and the Dr. K piece. Very reasonable. That one's smaller piece. Tree Goblin in the house. Yeah, I'm telling all kinds of stories. So,
ahoy, Rex.
Ahoy, and hello.
Yeah, I got to jump on what you were just saying about using a little bit of comedy. Let me share a little piece of a fragment I wrote today on that very
Okay.
thing. The office is still locked up and dark when I arrive. Dottie's not late. I'm early. I leave the overhead lights out. I guess the hangover's not entirely gone. No use making it angry. And make my way to the little kitchenette and get the coffee going. There you go. No use making the hangover angry.
Yeah, I was thinking as I was hopping into the shower, you know, these things come to you. It's like, I know that's an old joke, but that's all I got. That's what I was thinking when I got in the shower right before the show. I said, "Oh, that's a pretty good line," especially for me with the gray hair.
Yeah, never forget to write down those good lines when they pop in your head, boys and girls.
Oh, absolutely.
You lie to yourself and you say, "Oh, I'll remember it." No, you won't. You better write it down. There was a friend of mine who was a writer, Rex, and he said he always got his best ideas when he was in the shower.
Yeah,
and he would tell himself, "I'll remember it," but he would never remember it. So what did he do? He got a wax pencil and he started writing them on the shower wall because they'd wipe off later. Yeah, but he'd write them up there so he wouldn't forget.
Or get you one of those underwater tablets, you know, where little divers, remember,
those
communicate.
Are expensive. A wax pencil is cheap.
Are they really? Okay. Yeah. I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. I thought that was a great idea. But so far I haven't had to do that. Like, I'll tell myself I got to remember it, but I'll keep, I don't believe that anymore because you'll forget. But what I will do is if I have a really good line and I'm in the shower, I'll keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And then when I get out, I'll run in here and I'll write it down.
And then you have the little Spanish lady that cleans your house and cleans the shower. And you're like, no, that was comedy gold. What are you doing?
That was my Pulitzer Prize you wiped away.
Yeah. On Family Guy, you know, that's a running gag in a couple of those
no,
things.
I stay.
I
stay. I no go. I stay.
No, I need Italy's a film. I need the real thing. No, I cannot do this. It's hilarious.
He fired her like a dozen times. She said, no, I stay.
Yeah, Darth Vader's like, hey, it's a knockoff. I couldn't find any Windex, but you know, no, why can I do this?
Yeah, that character was comedic gold.
Yeah. Yeah. And she was the eye stock in the Return of the Jedi, you know, where they're trying to retrieve Han's, you know, and the droids come up to the or you know, and the eye stock comes out and no, you cannot see him. And it's like Jabba's cat got out and she's like, oh no, you know, it's like a little lizard with an eye stalk runs off. It's a kitty, kitty. You know? And then it comes to that scene where the frog goes whoop and eats something. Kitty, oh.
Yeah,
and the Rancor, that Luke has to go up against, it's a giant Rush Limbaugh. In the Blue Harvest, the first one, with the scene where the big ship is going overhead, on the back of it, it has a Bush Cheney bumper sticker. Good stuff, man.
I like the one in Spaceballs that says, we break for nobody.
Yeah. It's good to have a laugh every now and then, you know, and put that comedy going in there. But you know, listening to commentary and watching Wizard of Oz with like Ray Bolger and others. I mean, those guys that came up through vaudeville, man, they knew their stuff. You know, a lot of that they wrote for, and he got stunning reviews in that, was the actor that played the Cowardly Lion. I mean, they're always that 30s snappy, quick sort of repertoire between the characters, you know.
Yep. Yep.
It's wonderful. If I were king of the forest, you know, they wrote for him. They gave him some good lines in that.
I got a buddy that can do that vocal trill exactly
Yeah,
like
the vocal trill. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, Frank Morgan that played the wizard, he played 6 different roles in that movie.
Yeah.
Because back then he was a big name and they were like, yes, let's feature him a lot because we don't want people to feel cheated that they didn't see a lot of the big star, you know?
Yeah, this is Judy Garland was even still kind of a nobody.
Yeah, yeah. And they actually thought about using Shirley Temple for that. Now, 20th Century Fox, the next year in 1940, came out with Bluebird, and that was sort of their failed, attempt at doing. Now, there's also, but now Shirley Temple was great. Don't get me wrong, especially those early movies as a child actor. She was wonderful.
She did not have Julie Garland's pipes, though.
Oh, no, not at all. And did you know that Somewhere Over the Rainbow almost didn't make it into the movie?
Ooh, that would have been a major, major mistake.
Yeah, because that became almost like Frank Sinatra's, I Did It My Way song,
That is, as time goes by, to Casablanca.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that big. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rest in peace, Dick Cheney, says Ryan. Emphasis on the dick. Yeah. I mean, you could say the same thing about Mike Pence. You know, he can't get elected dog catcher anymore. You know, he's got the personality of cardboard anyway. I always said that, even when he was vice president.
Cheney, I think J.D. Vance is the best vice president.
Terrible, maybe.
Huh? J.D. Vance is the best vice president of my lifetime. Period.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's highly educated, right? Supposedly. Former military man.
He is a veteran, and he is savage in a debate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he beat up on old Tim Waltz with that side eye.
I just saw the Reagan thing where he's giving a talk, right? And the balloon pops, and without missing a beat, deadpan, he goes, "Miss me."
Yep.
You know, the great communicator, man, I miss him. I miss him.
Same.
I was so proud. I cannot tell you. I was the peacock with the big feather fan behind me when I went to vote for the very first time on my birthday. On my birthday. Had I been born a day later, I wouldn't have gotten to vote. But on my birthday, I got to vote for Ronald Reagan for his second term. And they still had the pull the arm over, close the curtain type voting machines.
Yep. I met Reagan when he did his tour of the Marine Corps bases on the East Coast. I was part of the
support. Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes, I did. And I've got my, let's see, where is it? I've got my challenge coin he gave me somewhere. Of course, I can't find it. We got little challenge coins. He gave each one of us one, shook his hand. Had to listen.
You did?
Yeah, I had to listen to the same speech 6 times, but it was all right. It was worth it.
Do you see the oil dripping off my hand?
You ain't getting it.
Well, I shook hands with, actually, it's this hand. I shook hands with Slick Willie. Now, that was before he became president, unfortunately. You know who Slick Willie is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I got no use for that guy.
Clinton. I don't either. Yeah, I wanted to cut his throat, but shook his hand anyway. I was still in like junior high.
Yeah.
He came to our school. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But we gave you the Clintons. Don't you love Arkansas?
He's he is what Gavin Newsom aspires to be, but he ain't slick enough.
Yeah. Gavin Newsom is such a,
He's a used car salesman, man. I can't
Disaster.
stand that dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew. That's all you need to know.
Well, I mean, all you have to look. First, he destroyed San Francisco. Then he destroyed California. Now he wants to destroy America. I mean, you know, I guess after he does that, they can elect him king of the world. And he can just trash the world.
Yeah. Well,
that's enough of that. I can't even stand to talk about that dude. Oh, he makes my skin.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean, you know, but I mean, that's the closest I've come to. Now, I did own the burial flag to Ronald Reagan's presidential hero.
Wait,
you know
what
who
now?
that was?
I didn't hear what you said.
I did. I used to own the presidential burial flag to Calvin Coolidge.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Burned up in the fire.
In my fire.
Yep. Don't you wish you had everything back that burned in that fire?
Yeah. That was a loss, historical loss.
Yeah.
Along with, you know, all that wonderful comic artwork and stuff, one of a kind stuff. I'm the poor for it. I mean, richer for it. Anyway, Mrs. Good Stuff in the house saying, "Hey, kids." See,
Well,
she thinks we're eternally young.
Hello, Mrs. Good Stuff. Good to see you.
Too bad you don't have the EVS handshake of doom. Shadowhawk says.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either, but it's pretty cool. You know, if you had a handshake of doom where you disintegrate the person, I guess. Yeah. Actually, Jim Shooter created a character called Mono that was like that in the Legion of Superheroes. He could actually put his palm to the ground and destroy a planet. He was that powerful with that. Yeah.
Lord help.
Only with the one hand, not both, just one. I can't remember if he's a mutant or what. Hello, Saboteur. Now, when I first saw his icon, or maybe second time, and highlighted, I swear the first thing I saw was not a cat. I saw this black-faced afro guy with red hair. If you look at it, I'm just saying that's what came to my mind. I'm totally honest about that. Just saying.
What's up, Saboteur? Good to see you.
It's good to, yeah. They've been coming in. I don't know if it's he, she. I assume it's a he, but
Saboteur.
There's women in comics too.
Saboteur is a he. I've been on a panel with him over on Omer's. I believe, haven't I? Saboteur, isn't that what I know you from?
Noticed Dr. Mask Retro Elixir was over there on Omer's last night. He's doing gangbusters on his views and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Streaming every day, shooting for that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He says, "Wow, Rex, no ink blot test for you," Mrs. G.
Everything he sees will be a black guy with an afro.
I wouldn't say that, but that's just the first thing. My mind was trying to, you know, how your mind tries to make things out of the abstract. And I did not just see the cat first. It was like,
that's what
encompassed the whole thing.
Are.
Huh?
That's what Rorschach tests are, Rex.
Yeah. But I mean, is there any meaning? Can you explain the Rorschach test to me? Because I never have quite. It's like free association. First thing you think of.
There's no real meaning to it. That comes from the psychoanalytic school, which is largely ignored.
Freudian.
Psychoanalytic is Freud, Adler, Jung.
Yeah.
All of that stuff's kind of it's not really.
Well, there's pseudo.
It's not.
I mean, it used to be quoted like gospel, but now it's like, let's distance ourselves from the origins of Freud, right?
Yeah, the only thing that still stands up is kind of his trichotomous thinking, the id, ego, and superego. That still makes sense. The rest of it's just garbage.
Well, the mind is full of water, right? I mean, your whole
I mean, if you
body.
dehydrate it, you won't have a whole lot left.
Yeah.
It was supposed to, but it doesn't really tell you anything. I mean, I guess if you held one up, and if I showed Rex a Rorschach and he said, "Yes, that's an image of your mother humping a dog," there would be something wrong with his head. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But if you say, well, I see two people coming together in the park meeting to have a picnic.
You're still crazy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, if they showed
Now
me
I
an
like
equat,
what was
I
it?
would say I see
Trichotomy?
an equat.
What was the word you just used?
Trichotomous mind.
Trichotomous. I've never heard that term. That's actually a pretty alluring term.
Well, it's also used in theology. We
Okay.
are trichotomous beings. We have a mind, a soul, and a
Soul in
spirit.
the body. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we have a body, a soul, and a spirit. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're saying mind, but yeah, your mind's part of your body. Yeah.
No, your mind is your soul, your personality, who you are.
Right. Well, when I think of, your mind, your will, your emotions, whatever. I mean, you could say it that way too, in a way.
That's just who you are.
Yeah.
The essence of who you are.
Well, I mean, like an egg, right? We often use that. You got the shell, you got the white, you got the yolk as a comparison. Yeah.
I don't do that because I'm just too fond of frying eggs.
Well, I mean, didn't you see that commercial? I know you did. It's your brain.
Yes.
It's your brain on drugs.
Yes,
Where they're frying up an egg.
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Where is Shadowhawk? Why is Shadowhawk not in here?
He was having phone problems. He got stuck sitting there for 30 minutes. A train made him late. He's having phone problems. He was very frustrated, and he was in pain. What else you want to know?
Sorry to hear that.
What is your T-shirt? Safe House. What is that?
Safe House Coffee Roasters.
Oh, okay.
Why is it backwards? Is my shit mirrored?
It's backwards to you, but we can see it perfectly. I could read it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Now in Restream, you can flip it.
Yeah, I thought maybe I had done that.
I think you
Safe
can.
House Coffee Roasters, boys and girls, go to safehousecoffeeroasters.com and you will order the freshest and best coffee you will ever have in your life.
Oh, there you go. There's the explanation. The EVS has shaken hands with a bunch of celebrities who died shortly after.
Oh, that's right. I remember hearing that a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Well, look, him going to the nursing home's a dead giveaway. Just saying.
No.
Okay. No.
Oh, Rex.
Get them while they're fresh. Now, listen.
Damn.
My title today to episode 1295, which this is for best results, you fresh ingredients. Rehash my comic, please. Sameo. What, in your opinion, Christopher, if I might use your Christian given name,
I'll allow it.
Is your best results for keeping it fresh, for a comic and being original and not just being a hack that rehashes stuff and.
Well, I mean, to avoid contaminating my thought processes with other writers, when I'm working creatively, I don't read anybody because it can be subconscious, but it can happen. If I read a Tom Clancy novel, I might just inadvertently rehash some of his lines.
Yeah.
Or if I'm reading Tolkien, I might do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing. Keep your palate clean.
Now, you have to do research, but I treat it as research. Like when I watched Gunsmoke, I was looking for all the colloquialisms and things like that of the time period that are written in there, but not necessarily, good lines,
right?
Just the way people talked. And then I'll take notes, but then also, like, I have not watched Westerns for a while. I was on it for a beat and now I've went on to other things, and I'm sure I will get back to the midnight type stuff, but you have to prioritize, and
yeah, I mean, you do that. You go and do a little immersion for getting your brain in that place, but then pull away from it for a little while.
Your headspace, right? Yeah.
But I do literally do a complete blackout on that stuff. Like when I'm painting,
I
don't look at Monet books, Renoir, any of that stuff. I need it to be me. When I'm drawing, I'm not looking at other comic book artists.
Right.
I'm just doing what I do.
I feel like with me, I've for years and years, like you, I read Avengers and Fantastic Four and back in that heyday, so I kind of know sentence structure, different things like that. And then how
let me ask
craft
you, Rex,
story.
how when you're writing dialogue,
Hey,
how do you avoid same voice? Same face for artists is a problem. For writers, same voice is the problem.
Well, to me, I'm like live with the characters for a while, and develop a personality around them before I even really start to write for them. I get it straight into my mind. What kind of personality does this character have? Is he a jokester? Is he a serious guy? Is he just manic? And that's why I'm gonna love writing for I don't know if you saw this, but my latest interior page there of this
Elsie,
character.
what's up? Hey,
Elsie.
I'm glad you caught the show, buddy.
Hey, Peter. Euphoria. You're gonna love, and I will consult you on after I get a little bit more built up with her and some other of the 43, because it really does go into some psychosis and megalomaniac and narcissism and just different types. That's the wonderful thing. I'm developing all types of characters. When it comes to this.
One of the things I
psychological
will do
breakdown
when I'm writing dialogue, I will write it
Thank
all
you, Peter.
out. I'll write it all out, but then I'll actually read it out loud. Does it sound like the way people talk? Does it have a meter? Does it have a clip? Does it have a rhythm to it? And do they have distinct voices?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I often think, what would this character sound like? What are the little eccentricities? Are there anything special? Like with Bog, he doesn't have a mouth or nose. I'm adamant on that. He's got all this stuff in front, but not really a mouth and nose. Again, kind of a character that doesn't have facial features. That's something that's not new. Look at The Question by Steve Ditko. I mean, yes, he had a face, but he put this sort of, and wasn't that the same thing with V from Vendetta? Put a mask on.
Yeah, and by the way, when they filmed that, they did a good job of making that same mask convey different emotions, just from the angles they shot it at. That was masterfully done.
Right. Yeah, you can do type like that, and then also that means I have to get creative with Bog because I'm telling a lot through his eyes. Or his body postures, right? It's almost like a silent movie.
Yep.
Because you can't go with the expressions of the face. You can't do that if you don't have a nose or a mouth. You can't even do a nose flare like, oh, smash, I'm mad,
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with my golem. He doesn't speak and he doesn't have a mouth. I remember Jim O'Reilly did an alternate cover for me, and in the first version, he had the golem roaring with his mouth open. And I sent Jim a letter back and I said, he doesn't have a mouth.
Yeah. Now, Doc, I want to extend a invitation to you. I don't know if you're a big Mark Silvestri fan, but on tomorrow's show, we're going to focus on Mark Silvestri's artwork.
Well, I appreciate it.
With Frederic Guimont, which is
that's
his favorite.
Guimont.
Hopefully, he can come in.
Say it right, Guimont. Frederic Guimont.
Frederic Guimont.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, if I get home in time, I will.
Okay. And you can always come in late.
I like Silvestri's work just fine. He was actually one of my favorites at Image.
Mm-hmm. Did you see his X-Men stuff though?
I did.
Early 90s, yeah.
But I wasn't an X-Men fan. It was remember it was X everything in the 90s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was just overdone. It was like it was a complete mental turnoff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you had a great run by John Byrne, Terry Austin, and Chris Claremont. Of course,
Chris
he wrote all
Claremont,
that stuff, but then all the other artists come in afterwards, right? I mean, okay, we went back to Dave Cockrum and John Romita Jr. did it, and then you had Paul Smith. You had people have different runs on it in the 80s and 90s and they're beyond.
Yeah, but you got to admit they went just too damn crazy with X in the 90s.
Oh yeah, and then they started the branch off stuff. They did the same thing with Batman and Spider-Man at the same time. They had like 5 titles, and Superman. You got to have Superman, action, Man of Steel, all it. It gets too much.
Yeah. It was just really overexposed. And some of the, I don't know, just some of the characters is like, that's your power is you wield a big gun. How's that a mutant ability?
Shadowhawk says it helps that Rex has multiple personalities. Hasn't lit a cigarette. He's not sick. Yeah.
What's up, PayPal? Good to see you, buddy.
Well, I do think that there's a lot of characters, especially now, that have for decades suffered from, and Wolverine's one of them, Punisher's one, suffered from overexposure. I think less is more. I think when less of Wolverine and he was more of a mysterious character, you don't have to spread the character out there like some whore on the bed, that opens her legs to everything that comes along.
I mean, on the one hand, you kind of get it that, it's a commercial enterprise at the end of the day. So this thing is popular, making us money, so let's make more of it.
Yeah.
I get it. But then the consumer side is some people bought it, ate it all up. But then there were people like me that completely just recoiled from it because of it. It was just too much.
Yeah. It does become too much. And I think even within crowdfunding, Doc, that would be something that we need to keep in the back of our minds, as creators. And I think we are seeing some buyer fatigue with some of these people that keep churning it out, the next new thing. And
I'm going to disagree. I think that as long as they're delivering product, cool.
Okay.
I think about, Lori Calcaterra and Path of the Pale Rider and Worthy Chaos by what's her name? Oh God, she's my buddy and I can't think of her name. Carissa Grant. Those guys are churning out stories consistently and they're crowdfunding for reasonable money. They're not going crazy with it. So I
was thinking more of the ones that have worked professionally in comics that are extremely light, light on some projects.
But we got breaking news here. I had heard some of this, Mrs. Good Stuff. She says, did you guys hear that Fanta is doing better? Was listening to streams the other day. Her son was sending messages in the chat for her because her sight is still gone, but she's improving. That is awesome to hear. And Fanta, if you happen to be listening, we love you. We miss you. Take your time. Get well. We'll still be here, God willing, and we'll see you when you come back.
Yeah, apparently it had affected everything. It affected her hearing, but now she can at least hear and enjoy.
Yeah. I affected my goatee. It's crooked.
Quit plucking at it.
I can't stand it when it gets crooked.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I think a lot of people don't do some of their best work. They say they're going to, and they don't put enough thought into it, Doc. They rush something out the door to have something to rush out the door. And that's not what we're really asking for as readers. We're wanting to read some awesome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, and I'll throw this out there for the other creators in the chat. I don't ever feel rushed to get the next thing out because I don't announce funding until I'm done with the project. So I can take my time, build it the way I want to build it, and then launch it. Now I know,
and you're building your reputation for quick delivery.
I don't know about quick.
Well, with every project, I mean,
I think it's the reputation for delivering, period. If I say I'm going to do it, you get it. It's done.
Mm-hmm. But now, time is a factor too with a lot of people.
Yeah, I get it.
Enjoyed the experience, but I don't want to wait 2 years for it. I get it.
I mean, I guess it depends. Like, I don't want to wait 2 years for a comic book, serialized comic story. But if you're doing a graphic novel and you're releasing every other year, I'm okay with that. If you're writing novels, I'm okay with waiting a year or two.
I kind of like the graphic novel thing in the 80s. It seemed like every creator got one, right? You had like Ron Wilson Super Boxers, you had Star Slammers by Walt Simonson, and so forth and so on. Bernie Wrightson did a couple of them, two or three of them.
Graphic novel of all time, and I'll die on this hill that it's the best there is The Man Without Fear graphic novel.
Who did that particularly?
Romita Jr. and Frank Miller.
Okay. Yeah, Frank Miller doing the writing and Jr. doing the artwork. Yeah. That was more European size. Those square bound, what we call graphic novels in America, are more European magazine size.
I guess I don't know about any of that, but
well, you've seen the graphic novels of the 80s.
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't know the difference.
But now Alan Moore had a discussion, with he says, I don't like the term graphic novels because they're not graphic and they're not novels.
Well, that's his opinion.
Yeah.
And he's welcome to it.
He's got a couple of good salient points there, but
they're graphic.
Got to call it something.
They are illustrated and they are novel length, or at least novella.
You're right. That is off.
It's off. I don't like it. Shut up.
He keeps returning to it, so I'm going to bust him over it.
So same voice is a problem for writers. I've noticed it. And I particularly, Chris Brown pointed out, he had just recently read some Spider-Man comics, and he's picking up on stuff that smells a lot like AI is doing the writing over at Marvel now. I don't know if there is or not. I haven't read any modern mainstream comics. But when AI writes, it sucks. AI cannot write, period.
I think that's why you want a diversity of characters to write for. You want all different stations of like lower to middle to upper income. If we want to put it in human terms, if you're dealing with the superhero sect, you want to deal with the weird, the more Captain America heroic or Superman type. You want to deal with the night crawlers of the universe. I mean, you want a wide range of characters so that you don't get into that same and life experiences, so that you don't get into that same voice. Ultimately, though, it is your life experiences, Doc, that kind of dictate your inner dialogue within your own head, right? So if you have limitations up here, you're going to have limitations on the page.
Oh, I agree, Ninja. If the money's there to be made the easy way, they'll do it. But yeah, you're right, Rex. You do draw from your own personal experience when you're doing that. That's why I encourage people, be widely read and do what Hemingway said. When you go out in public, listen to conversations around you.
Yeah.
Stop being centered on what it is you want to say. Shut up and listen to how people actually talk. It's a very good point.
Absolutely. And, just for artistic inspiration, I go outside. I see the way God made the universe, and I see the ultimate design built in, and that helps me. I get epiphanies just walking around and going, oh, that's interesting. I haven't thought of that in that way. There is no substitute for the real world that you live in.
I was at this coffee shop a couple of years ago, and I was sitting outside. They got a little patio area. I was sitting outside smoking a cigar, enjoying my coffee. This guy comes out and he's getting himself all posted up. He's got his tablet, he's got his coffee, he's got his cigarettes, and he's setting up and he spills his coffee. And before it hit the ground, I swear to you, he got the whole sentence out. He said, "This is seriously happening right now." I laughed till I thought I was going to split my side open at that guy because his timing was just so comedic and perfect. And that line stuck with me. So now I'm putzing around the house and I start to fall or drop something. I will think in my head of that moment, this is seriously happening right now.
You know, when I look at something like The Wizard of Oz and it has those quips and those quick little repertoire between a couple of characters, that's just wonderful stuff, man. The back and forth, and it also is conveying often, I know what the other person's thinking about. We're on the same page here. You know, you almost have to be because of the exchange of dialogue that's went on.
You know how when you're writing, when a different speaker starts speaking, you indent, right? With your quotes. You know you're doing it right when you don't have to use said Bob, said Fred, said Bob. When you can just go back and forth with the dialogue and the reader can follow who's talking based on how they talk, that's when you know you're doing it right.
If you've at some point lost, I mean, even like in a space battle, when you've lost who's the hero ship and who's the bad guy or whatever, and you got armies and you're going and you're confused about who's who, that's not good design. You need to be able to see
that when I was a kid watching those old what were the big Cecil B. DeMille, you know, the Trojan War or whatever, and you see the armies fight. I would get lost on who's fighting who and go, I don't get it. I don't follow it. And it bothered me. And now as an adult, like you just said, you can articulate. If you're not able to clearly show who's who, then what are you even doing? You know,
you're not engaged fully, and you want full immersive entertainment. You want to, wow, that was a trip. I thought about nothing at this moment except about what I was reading and looking at. That's what you want every time.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people are striving for that. They're trying to be pithy. They're trying to be humorous.
Look, you want your writing
sub-level, you know,
you want your
shallow
writing to be
into the pool.
That people read slow on purpose to enjoy it.
You
want them to read through the page,
like a good meal.
Read the page and go, damn, that was good, and reread it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you want.
And challenge the reader. Don't be afraid to challenge the reader, right, Doc? I mean, with the dialogue or the situation, something maybe they're unfamiliar with.
Trust your relationship with that invisible reader as you're writing, that they can follow this. I don't need to spoon feed it. You know, I don't need an expository dump right here. Context will explain it.
And I mean, comics have a lot of great devices that can be cheats too. Meanwhile, back in Gotham City, little box or editor's notes, or there's all kinds of stuff that you can do to lead people through the story.
Absolutely. And look, I'm still a fan of the thought balloon. All right. I know that's kind of
I am too.
Vogue thing right now. Screw that, man. Thought balloons were awesome.
That's all you get with Bog because he's telepathic. You know? And I even designed a thought balloon for him that's distinctive looking, you know?
With so little when Spanish moss hanging off of it?
Well, no.
Why not?
But you could, yeah. I mean, maybe in a horror story, you know, where you know, when you also hear cryptic speech, it'll do that type of stuff, you know, and I love it when the visual box becomes a visual cue, you know, and is integrated in that. Love that. Or sound effects.
Yeah, there was a letterer that was working on Thor when they started using a font that looked like Norse. And I was like, oh man, that is the chef's kiss on top of the writing. You know, the letterer is using a font that looks like Norse letters. Like, damn, that was genius level work, man.
Yeah, I mean, put some thought into it. That's what I'm saying. Put some thought into it. How will this be designed? How will this story best be told?
Right.
And if you're not telling it the best way, then there must be a reason why you're not telling it, why you're telling the story the way you're telling it, because you might want to I want to do this story, but I want to kind of bend it a little bit. I want to get it a little bit off, and then you're just because that's what you want. The story you're trying to tell is I want to tell a story that's just a little bit, a few degrees off, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Stephen Brush said, keeping in mind that you can't please everybody, write what you think is cool. Somebody out there will agree with you.
yeah, you can put nuance, you can put little flourishes in there, or you can be very direct. I mean, you can tell all kinds of stories. And you can begin the story anywhere you want. Case in point, Star Wars: A New Hope, Episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, start the story where it's most convenient, or not. You know, start it with the action. Start it with the talking head shots. I don't care as long as what they're saying is interesting, and you don't have to draw it all as talking heads either.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, save those long information dumps for a page that maybe can handle that. I tried to
Yeah.
do that with the Devil Flyer story.
Yeah. I try to dodge the big info dumps as much as possible.
Yeah.
It is necessary. Like in Pariah, I had to explain how magic works as the grandfather was training Elizabeth in her magic.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a big ass splash page to give myself room for all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just them
integrated in.
It's just
I think you would agree with me. I think you would agree with me if you can say it in 3 words instead of 10.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hell, I've got that picture.
You're not cheating the reader. You're being more direct, and I mean, it does help with the pacing. These long diatribes, and I bet a lot of people have read a lot of comics like that. They over-explain things.
Mm-hmm.
Let things happen more naturally and vicariously, with the dialogue and with the visuals, the situations, and there's very few artists that can capture little nuances, that's why I had John Dillard do images of like a bystander lighting a cigarette.
Yeah,
he's immortal, so it's not going to hurt him. That's
he has to explain how magic works. So I gave myself a whole page worth of just background to do it.
And that's not, as long as it's interesting background, that's not really a lot of dialogue. And that will get tiresome real quick. And it does in the Golden Age comics, Christopher. It gets very dialogue heavy in some of those Golden Age books. I mean, there were some, I think the readers' attention spans were a lot greater back then than what.
Yeah, I actually wanted more words today. I wanted more words. I wanted more story.
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. Is that better for you?
Right. No. Okay. Yeah. It's backwards, but no, it's not.
Don't do that to me. I'm old. You'll make me think I had a stroke.
I know I need to stop that. I told Sabrina, I said, she's like, can you hear me? I was like, no, you're muted. Of course, I responded to what she said. I can't hear you. You're muted. She destroyed her laptop.
Oh my God.
She got frustrated, destroyed her laptop, and came back on the phone. I felt so bad.
Christopher actually means Christ bearer in Greek. Mm-hmm. There was a Ofer Christo, messenger of Christ. Right before the show this past Wednesday, we're backstage, and Christy and I are talking. We're waiting on Darren to get there, getting ready to go live, and all of a sudden she goes, "Oh shit!" And the camera turns sideways, and I hear a crashy sound, and everything goes black. She knocked her whole setup off the table. The laptop, the headphones were trashed, the mic, everything. And I went, oh shit, there goes the show for today.
Well, not easily replaced, probably.
No, fortunately, everything was okay except our headphones. The little plug-in
Oh,
part was bent,
okay.
so we were all
Yeah.
right. But it was just funny. Oh shit! And in my brain, I went, seriously, that's the thing that's just happening right now.
Yeah, these things happen. I mean, I've knocked my mic off and things
This
like
is
that.
seriously happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I still remember Kelsey Shannon getting drunk and falling in the floor out of his chair, passed out. I'm like, I hope he doesn't choke on his own vomit.
There's
and
that,
then,
and there's Dale Keown doing it, and then there's the infamous Rex forgot us and went to work and left the camera on. So 3 famous chair stories right there.
Right there. I mean,
there it
real
is. The
Corinthian leather.
The most popular guest to ever appear on Rex's show. The chair.
I don't know about that, Doc, but I did get good watch hours and views.
You got a hell of a lot of watch. Dude, I went away and came back hours later. The chat is still hopping.
Hey, look, man, I believe in rewarding my chat, and sometimes the best thing I can do is not show up. Oh, when I was looking up what my name is as a kid book, thanks, Doc. Yeah, I mean, Christopher is very close to Christian, my last name, in the meaning and everything.
Yeah, I think
that has a bearing on who we are.
Michael is the Hebrew version of the Greek Christopher. So Christopher is Ophero Christo, a messenger of Christ, and Michael is messenger of God. Michael.
Yeah.
Anything that ends with an EL is God, of God. Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, in scripture in Hebrew, Genesis 1:1, he's just called El the creator. And then later, around 20 generations or 10 generations later in Abraham's day, he was called Jehovah, basically.
No, he wasn't. He was called Yahweh.
Or Yahweh. Yeah, I mean, yes.
There was no Latin.
Correct.
No Latin in the Old Testament.
Right. But I mean, the equivalent. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And then you have like El Shaddai. The El is part of that.
Adonai.
Or El Roi, God who sees,
Adonai.
which is only used once in scripture when with Hagar, but still a name for God. Go get you a name for God. There's at least one for every day of the year, 365 days. I think I've got a book like that has a name where you, with the passages and a prayer and stuff. It's pretty cool to like pray the names of God, that are revealed through scripture and the meanings of them. Way to call me out, Doc, on my own show.
That's what I do, brother. That's what I'm here for.
I know, right? That's why I keep having you on. Keep me straight.
Size that forearm, baby.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, look at that thing.
Mine not so big. Thank
It's all I've got left going for me.
Praise the child. Wow, Elsie was doing some wonderful paintings, and I always love the Good Shepherd or the Great Shepherd, Christ holding the lamb, because to me, that is a visual representation of, when you distill it down, of the word worship. Worship is to, you think about it, is to take like a child does. You take a child in your arms and they stroke your face and they're intimate with you. That's the real meaning of worship, is to, the visual representation of it is to take one in the arms and to have that, you want to see the face of God and up close and intimate. Well, be like a child and crawl up in his arms.
I hadn't heard that, but I do know that when Christ gave the model prayer, where it says, "Our Father which art in heaven," he's actually saying Abba. That's Daddy. Abba, Father, Daddy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how intimate is that Christ said, when you pray to Yahweh, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, you say, Daddy, hey, Dad, I need this.
Yeah, and Christian was a slur on the early church. It was really followers of the way. And back in the 60s, they actually had the Way Bible.
They still exist. Yeah. I mean, there's argument about whether they were called the Way or Christians first. They were first called Christians at Antioch, and that's recorded in the New Testament. I don't remember if the Way is mentioned in the New Testament or not. It seems like I heard the argument that it was, but I don't remember.
Well, I mean, Christ said he was the way, right?
I am the way, the truth, and the life.
If nothing else, in dialogue, Yeah, and you know what? I see biblical reference throughout all great writings. Doc. See, it doesn't sound as good as Christopher. But anyway, I rarely call you Christopher, if ever. But, since
you know what's funny to me, Rex, is what someone calls me tells me where I know them from. So back in the day, if they said Doc, I knew them from the military. If they said Christopher, I knew them from being a friend or family. If they said Mr. Blaylock, they were one of the felons that I worked with.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's another thing that you can put in writing. What other people call you is sort of like how they view you.
Yep.
Or their familiarity or their distance from you. Are you an associate? Are you a friend? Are you, you think I have to think about these social norms that are, that we don't give a lot of thought to. But in writing, you have to think, well, what is this relationship with Dr. Doom? What are the,
Yeah, in the book I'm writing right now, some people call Bishop Mr. Bishop, some call him Bishop, some call him Jake. Depends on their relationship. Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Carrie, before I'm told off.
In a way, Ninja, yeah, in a way.
Well, I mean, to me, I'm like his very special child. And by that, I mean,
you're special, all right.
You are special. Yeah, but you know what? Me being rejected at birth and in a way and adopted and everything. When I read that in scripture about, pay special attention to widows and orphans, I was an orphan. And God has a special place in his heart for orphans.
Every Christian is adopted into the family.
Yes, we are. And then learning that we're engrafted in and adopted, that just made it even more special. If you're adopted, and I also looked at it this way, Doc, I can chart my own course. I can be original. I don't need to have an origin story. I can be a man with no name in a way.
Well, you think about it like this too, when you are raised by your biological mom and dad, they have to love you. Adoptive parents chose to love you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Elsie said your parents wanted you. And they really did. They wanted children so bad they were willing to take someone else's child.
Or I guess the negative way of looking at that is they wanted a child so bad they even accepted you, Rex.
I know, but there's something about that that just puts a pin in, but you're right, Doc. I mean, and then I was about in third grade and my mother got 6 months pregnant and then lost the child. I was so excited about having a sister. I don't even know if she made it 6 months. It might be 3 months. But she did start showing. And for some reason she just couldn't have children. And that was probably the closest that it came when I was young. And, it really works on your worldview. At first you need to be comfortable in your own skin and your own worldview, right? Somewhat, and come to grips. And there's some things that are harder to come to grips with in our lives than others. But, we have to get a place of emotional stability where we can actually thrive and not just exist, right? There is a difference in just
Sure.
living and thriving, within this
That's true.
world.
Joseph Haywood said that the only people in society who are truly free are the insanely rich or the obscenely poor. Everyone else is a slave to existence. And I thought, okay, that's profound. That's a little bit of sound philosophy there. Certainly, when you think about modern life, yeah.
I read something back in college, Doc. The reader is a slave to the writer, and sort of the writer's life's experience or whatever the limitations, the boundaries that they put within the work. I know I'm extrapolating, but just the simple slave to the writer. What do you think?
Disagree.
No, disagree.
I think that a good writer is in symbiosis with his readers.
Yeah, but how do you reach the readers? By doing, like you were saying, pick something that you like and that you respond to, and then that will translate to at least a certain amount of the populace, because you really don't know your readers.
Where the world will argue about everything, the subtext of that, though, is there are some things that a great many people will agree on. So the example Brush used was, he said, I don't like barbarians with battle axes and broadswords. I like cloaks, fold over boots, and rapiers. And so that's what I write. And guess what? There's a lot of people that like it. The people that go in for the big broadswords and battle axes won't like it. But that's okay. You don't write Conan for Dumas, and you don't write Dumas for Conan.
Well, I think it's the same thing with artistry. Yes, you have to challenge yourself, but also write to those strengths, right? Write about what you know, places or experiences, and you can change those things in fictional.
But to that, I always say this, yes, write what you know, so no more. Never
so
stop
no more,
learning.
right? Yeah,
Never
so that you don't get that same dialogue or same feel. And I was thinking about that, Doc, earlier today, and even wrote it down because you don't want to forget it.
Good callback.
Good callback. Yeah, as Jen Psaki. Yeah. When you are a success, often your fans want you to repeat said success and be same old, same old.
Well, I don't think it's hard to stay in. Like, I'm on the third Jake Bishop novel, and I'm not repeating any tricks from before, but the voice is consistent throughout. So, thank you, Carrie. God bless you. I appreciate that. That does my heart good. I will write more tomorrow because you said that tonight. I will. It doesn't take a lot of encouragement for artists or writers. We get one compliment. We can live on that shit for a month.
Well, I mean, when it comes to villains, you have to often go places you'd rather not go.
Yeah, very true.
Because they are despicable, evil, douchebags, whatever. I mean,
terrible things. Yes, terrible people do
terrible people do terrible things, right? That are psychologically bent or whatever, revengeful. They're broken in some way.
I think in some way the decades that I spent working with convicted felons gave me some of that to work with.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's anything good about it. There's not. I mean, you'll hear and see things in that field, mental health, working with felons, that you'll wish you had never heard or seen.
Yeah. Yeah. But I experienced some of that in prison ministry too. Yeah.
But you do have to say, okay, at least that's something I can draw on when I'm creating a villain. I had a guy he was schizophrenic and he'd come off his meds. And I had noticed his erratic behavior throughout the day. And so I called him back to my office, and I was kind of doing it's a MSA, mental status assessment. It's a down and dirty quick read on somebody. And while I was talking to him, I said, how do you feel if someone disrespects you? And all of a sudden, drool came out of his mouth, and he goes, kill the motherfucker, kill him dead. Like, all right. Push my little panic button under my desk so a couple of officers will come in, and I'll say, we're going to need to do a 1013 here, and let's get him stabilized. That's not, oh, you're under arrest because you made a threat. That's, we need to hospitalize you for 72 hours and get you stabilized.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing you would run across. Woo.
Well, we, with the homeless shelters too, you saw mental illness. There was a guy that you were talking about medication, and no matter how much I concentrated on what he was saying, every time he spoke, it was incoherent. You couldn't make, it was like hieroglyphs. It was wow. It's amazing that so much can come out and mean so little. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it might be straight in his head, but you couldn't. And once you got him on his medicine, normal. I'm off to California. Hey, But off his medication, he was incoherent.
Yeah, that's a field of deep research and study, is what is actually happening in the mind of a person when they become incoherent like that. Are they incoherent between their ears, or are they unable to get coherence to come out of their processes?
Articulate what?
Right.
Mind to mouth.
Hey, there's Dr. Mask.
Hey, Dr. Mask. Enjoyed seeing you over there on Omers last night.
What's up, buddy? Well, Rex, I gotta get going, pal. I got things I gotta get done. I procrastinated to write a little bit longer today, and I didn't do my chores, so I got to do my chores.
Sometimes that can cause imbalance. Absolutely. I did the same thing, Doc. But when you're in the zone, you want to stay in the zone, right?
Yes, but at the same time, it's like an itch in my brain. I can't stand there to be dirty dishes in my house, and I got a sink full of them I need to go wash.
Yeah, I get it. That's fine. Yeah, I need to get back to doing what I was doing anyway. New artwork on the. Thanks, Doc, for coming in.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Peace out, chat. Check it out. See you tomorrow on the 4 o'clock shadow. Enjoyed it. Bow for now.